Hello and welcome to Advanced Excel for Productivity, a book by Chris Urban. This book is for experienced users of Excel. You'll learn keyboard shortcuts to work faster, you'll master Excel's functions, you'll deal with ref and other types of errors, you'll work efficiently with data, build macros, and much more. Let's look at a few examples here in this video of what you'll learn in the book. And for this first example, I'll just put the mouse pointer right here. We won't use the mouse, I'll just use the keyboard. And what I want to do first, I want to calculate today's date using this function, and I'll just label that here. You put a box around this, and I want to calculate for each row of data down here how many days it's been since the last payment. So I can drag this formula down, and then over here I want to get a range. Using VLOOKUP with a range, I want to get this day since payment and use my lookup table that I prepared over here. Second column, true for range, and this gives me the range of days, how long it's been since I got a payment. So now that I have both of these columns, I can insert a pivot table that goes on a new sheet, and now I'll pick up the mouse and I can drag things around. For example, state over here, delinquency range, and maybe for accounts, I don't want the sum of the account number, I just want to get a count of how many accounts are in each range. So there we have states and delinquency and count. So that's the first example. For the second example, we'll make a nice chart using this data here. And that's by year, we have sales and profit margins for a company. So I'll insert column graph, and immediately the problem becomes that the profit margins are in percentages, and so I can't really see them. I need to put these on a secondary axis. And sometimes it's kind of difficult to right-click on such a small bar. I can't really click on it, so here's a trick. Let's multiply this by 1,000. So now I can see the bar, I can right-click it, format it, put it on a secondary axis, and then let's reset the value. Get rid of the 1,000 again. And now, the way to make this chart look a little bit better, I want to make this into a line graph for the margins and bars for the sales. And finally, in terms of the layout, you might want to put the legend at the bottom and make a chart title as well. Sales and margins. Example 3 involves modeling and scenario analysis. And the idea of scenario analysis is, if you have a financial model like this, maybe annual sales, price, total revenues for a company, as well as costs and total profits, you're trying to project out various scenarios of what could happen in the future. And in this case, I specified 3 different price scenarios. If you lower the price going forward, if you keep the price stable at 100, or if you increase the price each year. And that will affect the growth of the company, the sales growth. And so if I change this value from a 1 to a 2, you can see that the values here change because I'm using offset functions referencing this cell. And if I change to a 3, I have a whole new set of values. And I can trace dependence to show you that this cell drives all those cells above, and then it all drives everything in the model until we get to a final value, which I'm really interested in, is the total profit. This is a sum of all these profits for the next 3 years. Now we're trying to maximize the total profit. So how to do that and which scenario would accomplish that, under which assumptions, we can build a sensitivity table. And that's over here. I kind of started setting it up by specifying 3 different scenarios for costs that would go over here, and then the 3 scenarios in terms of the price and the growth. So we want to put in the top corner our output value, and then select all this, go into the data tab, what if analysis, data table, and the rows go into here, the columns go into here, and then this way I have the outputs for each set of assumptions and what the final profit is, and the highest number is over here. Example 4 is a simple VBA macro. And in this case, what I want to do is I have a list of years and a list of states, and I want to put every combination of year and state into these 2 columns. So like 2012 California, 2012 New York, and so on and so on. And you could do this by hand, but really if you want to make it versatile and have the flexibility to change the states, change the years, add some more states, you want to be able to just do this with a macro really quickly. So I'll show you how the macro works. First, you want to name all the ranges that you're using. So this will be list years, this will be list states. I'm naming these so I can interface between the macro and the sheet. We'll need a place to go for the output, so that's output start. And then let's jump into the macro code. I already wrote this code ahead of time, and what it does is it uses a series of loops to loop through the years, loop through the states, output the correct value where it belongs, and then sort of move on to the next row, get the next state, get the next year. So if we run this, that already ran, and over here we have our result with every year and every state.